click is all it takes to lose everything.
We are in a cyber war. You can either be a defendant or you can be a victim.
How many of you are carrying around $1 million laptops? Now, when I say that, some of you are like, Eric, I bought my laptop for $800 from Best Buy. No. I'm not talking about what it cost to buy the hardware. What I'm talking about is what is the data that's on your computer worth? And I know when I say you have $1 million laptop, most of you are like, oh, no, that's crazy. And here's how I came up with this. When I travel to certain countries like China and Russia and a few others where I know they're very aggressive and they're targeting individuals, especially someone with my background, and I have proof that when I've left my computer in hotel rooms, even if I bring it with me, that it has been modified, broken into, and compromised. So what I found to be a lot easier is when I travel to those countries, I do throwaway laptops. I actually have a stack of laptops that are about $200 each. I buy them in bulk, and whenever I go to one of these countries, I just grab the laptop, I use it for 1 or 2 weeks, and then when I come back, I toss it. I know most people, when I say that, like, seriously, Eric? But think about this. If I bring my real laptop with all of my data on it, and I go to those countries, I'm gonna have to spend at least 2 or 3 hours checking and verifying it when I get back. And if you look at my hourly rate, a $200 laptop is a much better option and a much better solution. So I know it sounds a little crazy, but it works really well. But let me let you in on this story. So before my son went off to college, he used to take me to the airport when I went on business trips. So earlier this year, I'm going to China, and I left my work computer in my office because I was bringing with me one of my throwaway laptops. And he went into my office for some reason. I don't know if he went to get keys or money or something. And he goes, Dad, I think you forgot your laptop. You're leaving on a business trip and your laptop is in your office. I said, oh no, buddy. For this trip, I'm not bringing my laptop. I have a throwaway laptop. And he goes, why? And I sort of have a weird sense of humor. I like joking around. So without even thinking, I said, dude, it's because it's $1 million laptop. And I sort of laughed and thought that was pretty clever. Now, we're driving to the airport. You think as a parent I would have learned, be careful what you tell an 18-year-old. Because now my son's driving to the airport and he sort of looks at me. It's like, Dad, he's got this look on his face. Can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. He goes, is that laptop in your office really worth $1 million? And now I have visions that while I'm in China, he's going to sell my laptop on eBay and be driving a Ferrari when I come home, right, make $1 million. And I started thinking, I'm like, buddy, that's a good question. And at the time, this was early in the year, I was working on an expert witness case where I had all the evidence and all the information for a case that ended up settling for $55 million. I also had 3 assessments for some banks and hospitals that had all their vulnerabilities and exposures. I had a manuscript for my book. I had several courses. I had all this other info, and I start adding it all up, saying, you know something? It's probably a lot more than $1 million. I probably have a $15 to $20 million laptop and don't even realize it. And worst case, I'm not protecting it like it should be. Right? So now I'm always a lot more careful, but I ask you, how many of you are carrying around $1 million laptops? And I know initially most are like, oh, Eric, there's nothing on there. But if you start thinking about all the data, all the information, all your customers, all your proposals, think about it. What would a competitor pay for that laptop? What would a competitor pay to get that information? I will tell you, when we go in and do monitoring on the dark web, we often see on a weekly basis people saying if you can steal a laptop of an executive from Fortune 50 companies, banks, hospitals, pharmaceuticals, people will pay on average $6 to $8 million for that laptop. So yes, if you want to start a criminal life, right, you can steal laptops. I'm joking, but the point is these laptops are worth a lot of money, and we don't ever hear about this in the news. Because if a COO or CFO or CEO gets their laptop stolen, most of the time they just buy a new one. Most of the time, they don't even report it. They just have their staff buy new laptops for them, and the company doesn't even realize that laptop was stolen. And here's the scary part. There are still a lot of companies out there that are not using full disk encryption. There's still a lot of companies out there that if that laptop gets stolen, it would be straightforward and trivial to be able to access that information. So I go in and urge you as business owners, executives, ask yourself, how many of us and how many of our staff have $1 million or $10 million laptops, and what are we doing to protect, secure, and lock it down? Some of the best things you can do is have full disk encryption, have pre-boot authentication, and have two-factor authentication. So this way, your computer won't boot up unless you put in a USB drive, and you can't log in unless you get a one-time password either on a token or your cell phone, and the entire hard drive is fully encrypted. If you do those things, you are now treating your $1 million laptop like a $1 million laptop. But if you're running around with no pre-boot authentication, simple passwords, and no encryption, you are basically having millions of dollars in your house, wide open, easy to access, and anyone to steal. We need to start taking cybersecurity more seriously, and together we can make cyberspace a safe place to live, work, and raise a family. And if I could help you, I love giving away free content. So if you want to go to secureanchor.com, we have a lot of ebooks, we have a lot of free resources. You can also reach me at ecole@secureanchor.com. Let us know how we can help you protect and secure your business.